Hi, and welcome. I don't know about you, I am finding that time during these pandemic days it's just different. There's a certain basic sameness to our days, but then there's an almost unreality about them, or an otherworldly nature that makes us feel suspended in time, as if there is no time. The days can seem to go so slowly, and then I blink and another week has passed, which is how we experience time, even in normal circumstances. But it seems that everything is heightened by the experience of living at this moment in human history, with its particular circumstances, requirements, and challenges. This week, as you may have guessed, I have found my thoughts turning to the passing days of August, and simultaneously to the waning days of the Hebrew month of Av, which we have referenced several times in the past few weeks. As I touched on last week, I have always found August to be a bittersweet month of the year. Even as we are enjoying the absolute fullness of summer, the heat, the foliage, the harvested fruits and vegetables, we are noticing the days are already growing shorter. The return of school and a more intense work schedule is unavoidable, and the end of any vacation brings summer to an abrupt halt. This year, our summer days here in Cleveland have seemed to me to be particularly beautiful, in silent testimony to nature's independence from human reality and concerns. The warm, sunny days have given so many of us an opportunity to be outside in a limited escape from the restrictions of distancing and separation. They have also afforded many the possibility of social action also, but social interaction in backyards, carefully monitored with chairs strategically placed and cautionary distances of at least 6 feet apart. Some of you may have heard me bemoan the shortening days, as I find them emotionally and psychologically symbolic of a diminution of possibility and expansiveness. They are pointing to our winter selves, which feel oppressed by darkness and require more effort, more thought, more preparation and planning to navigate with a sense of affirmation and accomplishment. I love the sense of freedom and openness that the long days, in other years than this one in particular, usually bring with them. The month of Av, the Hebrew month of Av, brings its own contrasts and poignancies. On the 9th day of this month, as you may remember, on Tisha B'Av, we observe the saddest day in the entire Jewish calendar. And then, by the middle of the month, on the 15th day of Av, the mood changed completely into one of a cross between Sadie Hawkins Day and Valentine's Day, as Tu B'Av, at the time of the full moon of Av, speaks of love and romance, of finding one's beshert, and dancing in white dresses under moonlit skies. Just when the heaviness of remembered historical tragedies seems too great to bear, the Jewish Valentine's Day rolls around to lift our spirits and give us hope for the future. It's an old trick of the Jewish calendar to emphasize the contrast and thereby the meaning of every observance, as well as the dynamic nature of our lives, our tradition, and our history. The contrast in the month of Av between the darkness of multiple destructions and the light of human love serves to remind us that there is always light in darkness, and equally that there is darkness that emerges from or after light. We are also reminded that in order to feel whole, we must know what it is to feel broken, which is an important message for the approaching High Holy Days. We hear the words of the Kotzker Rebbe, Menachem Mendel, there is nothing more whole than a broken heart. There is nothing more whole than a broken heart. During this month of Av, we experience the brokenness of our spirits for any number of reasons. We confront the deepest pain of our souls, and we do our best to meet it with awareness, understanding, and humility, so that we might eventually turn that knowledge into empathy, kindness, compassion, and connection in our relationships with others and with ourselves. I would share with you one more message from our calendar that is related, but not so directly. In this, the third of the 7 weeks of consolation that lead us up to the High Holy Days, the third Haftarah contains a beautiful promise of a society established on righteousness and consequently free of oppression and fear and safe from ruin. Most strikingly, it critiques the worldview that sees the accumulation of wealth and material possessions as the highest value, offering an alternative vision in which that which truly satisfies is available without monetary cost. The prophet Isaiah suggests that it is the people's obsession with materiality and money that leaves them empty and puts them at risk, while the alternative value system in which righteousness and justice are uplifted is the foundation of true safety and security. In the midst of waning, passing, complex days, our tradition turns our attention and focus to eternity. We hold the truth and the complexity of various thoughts and themes in our minds and hearts as we turn now to our moments of simply breathing, so that we might return to the multifaceted nature of our days, fully present, fully awake, and fully aware. So, I invite you to adopt your meditative position. As I have suggested, it may be helpful to sit on the front half of your seat as opposed to the back half of your seat. Our goal is to be attentive, but at ease, present, and yet with a relaxed sense. Feet on the floor, hands in our laps, possibly facing upwards, or if you have arms on your chair, and that's comfortable, by all means. And you may wish to close your eyes, or just to close them softly and gently, without a clear focus on anything. Oh, that feels good. Let us just take this break to breathe and just notice. Notice the miracle of our breath that comes into our bodies and goes out without our paying any attention whatsoever. As the days go by, with their beauty or their sadness, in their lengthening or in their shortening, our breath continues. It comes into our bodies. And we feel it. We pay attention to it at this moment. Do we feel it in our nostrils, down our throats, filling up the core of our physical selves? Might we imagine it reaching to the tips of our fingers, to the ends of our toes? Oh, and then the exhale with a sense of relief, release. There is something about returning to this very basic part of our lives that helps us put everything else aside for this moment. We are here, and it is enough. We are enough. We are adequate to whatever it is that life asks of us. And we feel that just by breathing in and breathing out. So we breathe in our presence in this moment. And we breathe out the undifferentiated nature of time that passes no matter what we might be doing or upon what we might be focusing. But we are here. We are in this moment. We may not have control over the length of the days. The sun shining or hidden, the wind, the rains. But let us breathe in our own agency in this moment of feeling the breath of our lives filling us, sustaining us. And let us breathe out any doubt, any sadness, any reluctance that comes with the changes in the light, with the changes in the seasons, with the changes of the months. Let us breathe in a sense that in this moment, as we draw our breath, we are part of a unity, a spiritual unity, a natural unity. We are part of an eternity that we know precedes us, we know will follow us. But with this breath, we are a part of it. We are a part of something that is essentially one. And we breathe out the disjointed fragments that our lives seem to embrace so often. Just for this moment, let us be part of a unity that embraces all that is, all that lives, even all that will pass eventually, and give way to new realities, all part of a oneness, an interconnectedness. An interrelatedness to which the second half of the month of Av speaks with its images of romance and love. And the first half of Av does not. That's the brokenness. That's the brokenness. Only a tradition that believes in the fundamental unity of all of God's creation could formulate the idea that the only whole heart is a broken heart. That there is nothing more whole than a broken heart. Even the brokenness becomes part of a oneness. Let us breathe that in. Perhaps there is comfort there. And if not, just use this time to breathe, to refresh, to escape from the world for these few moments. As a way of bringing this particular time to, I don't even want to say an end, but just to a pause, let me share with you this poem from John O'Donoghue, the great Irish poet and priest, I believe, in the Catholic tradition. No one knew the name of this day, born quietly from deepest night. It hid its face in light, demanded nothing for itself, opened out to offer each of us a field of brightness that traveled ahead. providing in time ground to hold our footsteps and the light of thought to show the way. We seldom notice how each day is a holy place where the consecration of the ordinary happens, transforming our broken fragments into an eternal continuity that keeps us. Somewhere in us, a dignity resides that is more gracious than the smallness that fuels us with fear and force, a dignity that trusts the form a day takes. So at the end of this day, we give thanks for being betrothed to the unknown and for the secret work through which the mind of the day and wisdom of the soul become one. I wish you some of this beauty in the coming days. It is from his book, To Bless the Space Between Us. To bless the space between us. And let us all send blessings into that space so that it should not feel very distant at all. In fact, we should, with our blessings, convert that space into closeness. May your days have beauty. May they have understanding. And may you find moments of being present. Just being present. Breathing in and out. Being alive. God bless you. See you next week. And thank you.